Hello everyone, welcome back to 10 Forward. I'm your host Mike Overton, and in this week's episode, we're going to be going through Season 2, Episode 2 of Strange New Worlds, Ad Astra per Aspera. I can't wait to share my thoughts and insights with you, because this week's episode is a good one. In this, the second episode of Season 2 of Strange New Worlds, we finally get a resolution to the intense cliffhanger ending of Season 1, where Commander Una Riley gets arrested for being a genetically modified Illyrian, and in this episode faces the consequences in a captivating courtroom drama episode. This episode not only delves deep into the important issues, but staying true to the essence of Star Trek, and it also explores the sentiments that the Enterprise crew have towards their first officer. So the episode opens with a flashback to Una's childhood, where she has a leg injury and her parents are arguing about getting medical advice. As we know, one of Una's Illyrian genetic modifications is that her immune system glows when she's injured. Now, this makes it necessary for her parents to conceal these modifications, not only for their own safety, but to also avoid social scrutiny after the eugenics wars. Captain Pike journeys halfway across the galaxy in search for the only lawyer that he believes can assist Una in her legal troubles. Despite facing constant rejection and being on a hostile planet where humans can't breathe, Pike perseveres until he nearly collapses, desperate to present Una's case to Nira. Now, he admits that his personal connection with Una and that his encounter in the Ghosts of Illyria have revealed the Federation's and his own misconceptions about Illyrians. Nira swiftly and justifiably reproaches Pike, acknowledging his newfound empathy, whilst expressing skepticism that the Federation will follow suit. Nira is already well informed about Una's situation and criticizes Starfleet's oppressive race laws. Pike implores her to aid Una, not only for her sake, but also to shed light on other cases against the Federation and to gain an ally within Starfleet, much like himself. So, one of my favourite parts of this episode is the significant portion of Una's backstory that gets revealed. Now, this sheds light on her past experiences, and it explores her childhood where she had to conceal basic injuries from non Illyrian neighbours, and delves into the reasons why she has this incredibly strong desire to join Starfleet. Now, Una holds a deep belief that while space exploration entails challenges, which are captured by the episode's title Ad Astra per Aspera, the potential lies beyond the stars can ultimately liberate us from various burdens, discriminations, struggles, and fears. Now, this beautiful notion essentially aligns perfectly with the essence that is Star Trek, resonating so strongly that it almost becomes palpable. Yetede Bataki delivers an exceptional performance as Nira, Una's fiercely determined lawyer who refuses to take any bullshit. Nira is not only focused on her client's freedom, but is also trying to expose the hypocrisy within Starfleet regarding which rules the leaders are allowed to break without facing any consequences, such as General Order 1, or as it's now more commonly known, the Prime Directive. Nira delivers several really powerful monologues about justice in this episode. However, I do wish that the show delved a little deeper into whether Una's claim for asylum would have been feasible for any other concealed Illyrian officer who didn't fit the mold for the model minority. While some members of the council didn't appear to be inclined to convict Una from the beginning, and even the lead prosecutor seemed more interested in using her to bring down Pike, it would have been intriguing to see if the show had, explicitly explored this aspect. Nevertheless, as we learn from shows like Law and Order, sometimes you have to provide the jury with a reason to align with what they already want to do, and Nira certainly understands this concept from the outset. The only thing I think they could have done better in this episode would have been to have a dedicated set for the courtroom. Now, the courtroom set in this episode is Starfleet Command from season 3 and season 4 of Star Trek Discovery, and everywhere you look, you can see the Discovery influences in this set. Although the set is beautifully redressed, it has these wonderful red wood panels and furniture. I just feel that it the rest of the set is far too modern for this era of Starfleet, and I feel that it's the only thing that sort of lets the episode down. One of my favourite scenes from this episode is a scene where we see Ortegas and Dr. Mbenga sitting in the mess hall, essentially staring at Vice Admiral Pasulk and Lieutenant Commander Spock. Now, Spock and Pasulk are having a conversation, and to us non-Vulcans, this just looks like two Vulcans sitting at a table having a normal conversation. Ortegas is essentially ad-libbing and, you know, pretending to speak on their behalves to Dr. Mbenga in a funny way. It's only then when Dr. Mbenga turns round and says, well, do you not see the tension between them? And us as the audience and Ortegas are looking at these two going, what are you going on about? We then cut to Spock getting up to the table, getting up from the table, sorry, and then walking over to Ortegas and Mbenga and apologizes for this outburst, and that how Pasulk, as one of his father's old colleagues, brings out the worst in Spock. And they promise never to talk about this outburst to anybody else. Sorry to cut in here, folks, but future Mike here. Looks like when I was recording this last night, I didn't hit the record button, so I'm re-recording the next bit the following morning. Shh, don't tell anyone. Mr. Spock then walks away, and Ortegas and Mbenga essentially break down in laughter. I love this scene. It adds a little bit of a soft touch to what is a very serious episode, and it's just a nice kind of break from the very dramatic scenes that we see coming up. Ad Astra per Aspera stands out within the legal subgenre of Star Trek episodes, and like the finest examples in this category, it skillfully utilizes a science fiction concept. In this case, it explores the persecution of genetically modified individuals, and with Una hiding her true identity to represent topical issues such as race, gender, sexuality, and religion. However, it is somewhat unclear how a Federation colony could deteriorate to the extent depicted in Una's recollection, but, nevertheless, the exploration of Una's journey towards living authentically remains relevant and resonates with contemporary audiences. Once again, a Star Trek courtroom drama puts humanity on trial, prompting contemplation of our own values. Overall, Ad Astra per Aspera is likely to rank among the list of Star Trek courtroom episodes, and it embraces the tradition of inspiring speeches that encourage living up to the ideals of Starfleet and the Federation. The impactful musical score effectively enhances these moments, and whilst Pike's speech was absent, it allowed Rebecca Romijn's character to shine, providing a new depth to Una and setting her on a path of self-discovery. So in summary, it's a distinctly modern episode that captures the essence of classic Star Trek. It showcases the series' ability to tell original stories whilst invoking the best elements of the franchise. With just 2 episodes, 2 different subgenres have been explored. The second season of Strange New Worlds is off to a cracking start. It's demonstrating its potential to deliver, compelling narratives. I really can't wait to see what the rest of the season has in store. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me on this episode of 10 Forward. If you'd like to catch up with more Clone Star podcasts, you can tune in every Wednesday at 10:30 AM, either here on YouTube or on your favourite podcasting platform for The War Room with the incredible Sean Ferrick. Remember, please like and subscribe this video as it really helps us push more amazing content. And once again, I've been your host, Mike Overton. Have a great week ahead.